Thank you very much. Fortunately, I'm told one of my panelists is going to come in remotely. Do we have her? Technical team? Is Winnie? Do you have Winnie on the? Or I'm going to end up stuck with two vendors. James from Periculum, if I got that right. James? And Gerald from Intrasoft. Do we have Winnie or not yet?
Hi, Yahweh. Can you hear me?
Winnie, say hi.
Hi.
Louder.
Hi. I need a mic. Hi.
How are you, Winnie?
I'm fine. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. It's unfortunately we don't have you here. Now I'm stuck with two vendors physically in my presence. But I hope we'll get this done somehow.
You're on the stage. Okay.
Okay, to start off with what, take the topic as a placeholder. If the topic goes, if my conversation goes west, don't complain. And if you need to pull a Will Smith on someone, I'm sure Harry is somewhere here. Don't come this way. Okay. Harry, are you in the room? Or he's sneaked out, Okay. So what I'll start off with is I'll just have each of you just do a minute. Just give us a quick brief on who you are and what your organizations do.
Good afternoon. My name is James Kagotho. I'm the country manager for Periculum. Periculum basically is a data analytics company that deals with credit assessment solutions. So we build machine learning credit scoring for Saccos, especially like yours, to enable you, churn out a lot of historical data and give you an affordability rate and a credit score.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Gerard Kosgei. I work for net company Intrasoft, which is a company which has been in the Saccos space for a few years now, and we are working with different Saccos in the digital transformation journey. So thank you very much and glad to be here.
Hi, Winnie. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Winnie Sergon. I'm the head of ICT and innovation at Boresha Sacco. Boresha Sacco is formerly Baringo Teachers. It's based in Baringo County, but we have presence all over, including the use of technology to onboard and join Boresha Sacco, where we're targeting each and every member or client who is not a member of our Sacco. You just go on Play Store, download Boresha Sacco member onboarding app, and yes, you will be my member. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Winnie. And I'm Robert Yahweh. In brief, what Synaptech Solutions does is the same thing that Silent Night does. We make sure that your technical teams have a peaceful sleep by making sure that the infrastructure is working. So me and Silent Night are competitors. Now, just a quick show of hands. How many here are what we call career Sacco? Show of hands, please. People who have worked with no one but a Sacco. Okay, thank you. Show of hands, all those who come from the banking sector. Show of hands, please. Now the rest of you, where did you come from? Jiteteni, let's start. Who wants to explain to me somebody who is not in the two groups? Third horse. No, I'm concerned because if this is a Sacco event, I expect either many of you to have come from Saccos or from banking. The rest of you? Unajua hii kitu inakuanga rahisi sana.
So I've come from data center space, then into engineering inside the Saccos. So I've worked as an engineer in a Sacco, then went into enterprise architecture and founding a company. So I have been a career Sacco to some degree, but not fully. Yes.
Okay. Thanks. I just need us to set the reference point. Who is from the Sacco? The people who are core Sacco. I think I'll just I'll double on you. I just need a quick explanation of what exactly is a Sacco. I need somebody who can give me a definition of what exactly is a Sacco. No, he has exempted himself. He said he came from banking, even though we met in a very different place. Introduce yourself and tell us, what's a Sacco?
Is that way or this way? It doesn't matter.
What's comfortable?
Let me look at the people. Oh, good morning or good afternoon. My name is Edward Kinyongo. I am intergenerational partner for Mimi Nawe Youth Sacco. That's for the youth, but as you can see, I'm not a youth. Intergenerational partner for Mimi Nawe Youth Sacco.
Have you heard that title before?
Intergenerational partner. Partner for Mimi Nawe Youth Sacco. This is a Sacco for the youths that are aged up to 40 years. But myself, I am not in that gap. I have experience of Saccos for the last 30 years. Having worked as a cooperative officer for 7 years, then after that I became a CEO of Saccos for about 15 years. So when you talk about being a Sacco Damu, I'm really there. I'm a strong believer. I'm a strong believer of savings, because I know without savings, there can never be any investments. Savings, we say it is a prerequisite to investments. It's only through savings that you can actually have investments. Let me define what a Sacco is, so that I don't go into unwanted details. Basically, a Sacco, and those initials stand for Savings and Credit Cooperatives. It is possible you may ask some people what the Sacco stands for, and they may not even know. But Sacco means Savings and Credit Cooperatives, societies. Savings is simply where you save money or keep money aside instead of saving. You know, when you get a shilling, you either save it or spend it. That in economics, we used to call it marginal propensity to save or to spend. Now, a Sacco has mainly 3 components. Basically, in terms of the products, it has the shares where members contribute shares, where shares are never withdrawable, but they are transferable. Then it has what we call, and all the Saccos have the minimum share deposits, shares. Then it has what we call deposits. Deposits are the ones that members use as guarantee for the loans they take. Usually, shares are not used for guarantee of loans. Deposits are withdrawable when somebody is actually leaving the Sacco, and you give a notice of within 60 days, your deposits can be refunded. Savings is the third component. These are mainly for the Saccos that are FOSAs, front office services activities. Those savings are where a member can go and save today, withdraw in the afternoon, save tomorrow, withdraw the next day. Those are savings. So the Sacco has shares, deposits, and savings. There is so much I can talk about the Sacco. Let me just end there. Thank you very much.
Clap, 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 clap. Now you know what a Sacco is. Because what I've listened to most of today has nothing to do with Saccos. Has got everything to do with core banking. And unless we understand what is the exact activity of a Sacco, we keep trying to sell technology instead of dealing with members. One person came up here and said, do not call them customers. Call them what? Why? Every person you deal with in a Sacco is an owner. Your traditional bank has no owners. It has customers, and which is why they generally have bad customer service. A Sacco cannot have bad customer service because it doesn't have. Thank you very much. Now, down to trying to get this thing to work after I've thrown that spanner into the works. Winnie, if you're still with us. Winnie? Even after 2 years of being virtual, we can't get this right. Okay.
I think I can hear you loud and clear.
Thank you, Winnie. What I want you to give us is, what problem do you find is not being solved for you by your service providers that you really want addressed?
Thank you so much. What I can say is that innovation is growing very fast. We have things that need to be enhancing the system from time to time, and our provider at times might take a while when it comes to plugging in what we need, considering someone said in the morning, you have a different provider for this, and that. So in a scenario where you need something done, you realize that you have to involve 2 or 3 parties, which one of them might be efficient, the other one might not. So one of the things that I wish could be better placed and addressed is the issue of having a synchronous system that can be able to handle the member rightfully, end-to-end solution without having to plug in several other providers in between. That way makes it easier when it comes to addressing the member needs from time to time, because we understand that members' needs, the way a customer needs, are always changing. So same to the customer member needs, we need that change to be as dynamic and as easy as possible to have it plugged in into the other time of need. So that's what I would wish to have it more addressed better. And it's a journey, it's a work in progress. I know it will not be solved within a day or 2, but with the right systems, with the right partnership, with the right strategies, it's attainable.
Thank you, Winnie. James, Winnie mentioned members. So which member data sets did you use in building your AI?
So basically what we've done here in the country, we've partnered with our company called Mono to provide alternate data sets, that is real-time bank statements and M-Pesa statements. Our work is mainly to analyze that and shorten the turnaround time of credit disbursement.
Did you pick any data that relates to the relationships within members of Saccos? Because that, I think, is the core of the Sacco movement, and it's where the true knowledge lies. Yes.
So what we've been able to do is create a machine learning credit scoring model that targets Saccos, mainly because what we've realized is that Saccos have a lot of historical data that they cannot make sense of. So, for instance, if I go to a Sacco, you'll really realize that the traditional way of them, doing business is tied between guarantors, my savings and all that. But again, there's a lot of risk in that. So what we have been able to do is, use their own historical data, create a model, and then give 2 variables: an affordability rate. Can this customer afford this loan? Then I provide a credit score, because those are the things that Saccos are lacking as of now.
Just to build on the same, but doesn't my credit score also have a component of my guarantor's credit score?
Yes, that's also, it has also that.
Okay, thanks. Gerald, now that we have ascertained that a Sacco is not a baby bank, how do you find that your solution meets their requirements better than a traditional core banking system?
Thank you, Robert. Yeah, and I think this is a challenge that many partners face the first time they enter the Sacco market, because as you've rightfully said, the members, actually the board, are the customers. So in case of any issue, the first person to actually tell you the problem is the owner of the Sacco. So basically what we try to do is to build from the ground up, working with the Saccos and working through the different processes. So we know there are almost 4 key processes. There is a member journey, which is basically either registration all the way to withdrawal of the member. There is the loan processes, which is basically, there are 2 types of loans. So there are loans which are guaranteed, which is actually the majority of the loans within the Sacco. But there is also an increasing need for members to access instant loans. So basically working with that in mind, we're actually able to automate the whole process from the member journey. So basically from the time I decide to become a member of a Sacco, which means I need to provide all the details, that process is fully automated to the time that you actually take the loan. So working further to that, we realized that a big challenge that Saccos were facing was, yes, they could take the loans, they were able to give loans to members, but the management of the loans was a problem. And the real reason why it's a problem is the same person who took the loan is the owner of the Sacco. So for example, within a bank, if you delay payment of a loan, the banks are very strict. Within 2 days, they either start recovery processes. But Saccos are kinder to members, so they try and exhaust other processes. They talk to your guarantors, they try other means to recover those loans. So what we've done is to build very robust loan management processes within our system, just to ensure that we are able to build in those very unique characteristics within the Sacco, which then ensure that we are able to accommodate both the unique nature in terms of how members pay their loans, but also the fact that a majority of loans within Saccos are paid through checkoff. So we are also able to put that within the system, while still ensuring that the recovery is automated. So we've introduced things like grace period for members, so that in case they're not able to pay, we give them a grace period, after which the system automatically recovers. So it's been a journey, as I said. We've worked with Saccos, and over time, we've actually, our system, it's no longer a core banking system. We call it a Sacco banking system because it has the best of both the Saccos and also the banks. Thank you, Robert.
Back to the same, I'll push a bit on that, is Sacco, and this is a takeaway I got from the last time I was at the Sacco Tech, and I was told there's a specific reason why it's called a savings and credit, and not a credit and saving. There's a relevance. Saving is what is very critical. But so far, you only discussed the credit part. I've had very little, even from most of the other presenters, that had anything to do with, 1, the savings, and 2, the relationships between the owners of the Sacco. Are you doing anything to build that into your solution so that you do have an end-to-end process of exactly how a Sacco works? Because Saccos and banks are 2 totally different animals.
Yeah, that's actually a very, very good point. As I think one of the earlier speakers mentioned, Saccos bridge the credit gap. So the loans you cannot get within the banks, you're able to get within the Saccos. And that's why I think we are very much focused on the credit part. Now, but the savings bit is equally as important, because without the savings, you can actually not get a loan within the Sacco. So one of the key things, and that's why I think it's normally overlooked, Saccos actually enforce what we call compulsory saving. It's a forced saving culture. So basically for you, the deposits accounts, which is the account that you use to guarantee your loan, for most Saccos, you actually have a monthly mandatory contribution. So what we do within our system is, most Saccos actually started off as common bond Saccos. So the members are either teachers. There is actually a relationship between the members. They're either teachers, they work for a specific organization, and therefore, most of their savings come in through what we call check-off. They come in through files from the organization. But more and more what we are seeing is Saccos are opening up their common bond. They are actually encouraging savings from people who are outside the traditional organizations. And therefore, it's very difficult to enforce that, what we call the mandatory contribution. And what we actually built within our system is what we call automated recoveries of even deposits. So what happens is, as a member, I just need to go to the Sacco and mention that I want to be contributing maybe 5,000 within the month. And then what you just need to ensure is we give you a way in which that amount automatically goes to the deposits account, which is the non-withdrawable account. But now you ask, how will that money even get to the front office account? And that's where we've gone a different level further. And through the introduction of APIs, we've actually exposed all the deposit functionality to different channels. So it's not just from your mobile app, it's not just from your USSD that you're able to introduce the deposits. We've actually opened it up further by partnering with even agency networks from different banks, and even partnering with banks themselves. So through solutions known as direct debit, you can actually go to your bank and tell them, every month I want to move 5,000 from my bank account to the Sacco. We've actually introduced all those solutions just to help the member in the process of enhancing their deposits. So this is something we are actually working towards. Robert, thank you.
Okay. Gerard, you said something very interesting. You said forced savings. I've never heard of anybody with a banking system saying that they have forced payments when they give you a loan. I think the Sacco is trying to develop a culture of saving. And everyone is fighting it. All of you here are fighting the Sacco movement. You don't want it to encourage saving. Everybody wants to encourage credit. Do you know how much interest, or it's dividend, sorry, I correct myself. Dividend Saccos pay their members between 12 and 17%. Tell me of a share on the stock exchange that can give you a 12 to 17% dividend. Savings are great. Eat the dividend. Don't eat the savings. And that's what they're trying to do. So please just, on behalf of my agement, it's not forced savings. It is developing a culture of saving. James, I'll come to you now. Rumor on the streets is that the Mshwari product by Safaricom was based on relationships between people with M-Pesa. Because what Safaricom would see in the data is, you'll call me 2 times, I don't pick. Then the 3rd time you call, I pick. Then a few minutes later, there's an M-Pesa transaction from me to you. Then for the next 3 weeks, every time I call you, you never pick the call. Because why? You owe me. So Safaricom realized that for us to maintain our relationship, they need to take away the business of people lending money to friends. So they removed that component and introduced Mshwari. How are you able to go into the Saccos data and also be able to extract that relationship component and then use it to develop products?
So one of the things that we've been able, like right now, what we've been able to do is we're still trying to understand the Sacco movement in Kenya. We're only 2 months old. So basically, we've been very, very active in Nigeria. So one of the things we are trying to do is get to understand the market, because the credit models over here are totally different. So what we've done is partnered with one of the largest Saccos over here to create a model for them, like more of a proof of concept, try and see how it will work, and then we can now move on to the next Saccos that are available. But for now, what we're trying to do is just try and build. Yeah, because we don't have for credit scoring, you don't have a ready product. It's not off the shelf.
You don't have savings scoring as well?
For now, no. It's purely based on credit. Yes.
Why is it only credit we want to score and we don't want to score savings? My saving behavior is more critical than my...
You have a point, so we'll be looking. Definitely.
No, you're lucky you've only been here 2 months, so I shall spare you any further thrashing. And hope next year when we meet for Saccotech, you'll give us some insights.
Great. Yes.
Just to close off, I think I'll ask, Winnie, are you with us still?
Yes, I am very present.
What's your take home from what you've heard from your vendors here?
Honestly, I love the way you've expressed what a Sacco is, and the relationship between a Sacco and its members is the formation, the onboarding process. Why are you joining and who made you join it? Because you realize that the difference between us and banks is the savings. We enhance the savings culture from time to time. I always tell people who would like to join, if you want a loan of 1 million in 6 months, then we calculate back your amount that your repayment, and then you should be saving that amount for the next 6 months. Meaning, by the time you are taking the loan, you are used to the savings culture, and it will not be a shock on you. So that's the difference between us and banks, and it has been a big kind of competition lane, because they'll always see like Saccos, you have to save, you waste time. It's not wasting time. It's instilling the savings culture. It's making you know that you have to work for what you want, and at the same time, you have to be resilient in that journey. So my take home from the vendors is that we need to understand the relations between the customer needs and the customer needs, and at the same time, the savings habits. We have softwares that can be able to show even how you spend. And from there, if you display to somebody and show them that you've been spending 120,000 in alcohol, they cannot understand. But that is the relations that we need as we instill the culture of savings to these members, to the customers that we have who are our members. So my take home is every national member of Kenya, Africa, and the world should be a member of a Sacco, specifically to instill the savings culture to our generation and the generations to come. Let us stop the stereotype of seeing like Saccos are for the aged. I am aged, but at the same time, it's about the investment. What are you having in for the time that you will be less active? So you have to save so that you earn the dividends at the end of the year. And when you earn your dividends for the year, divide by the 12 months and see your wealth profile. How are you doing? So that's it for me, Robert. And this is an interesting discussion.
Thanks a lot, Winnie, and I wouldn't dare to add anything to that. Thank you all, my panelists. Thank you for being a good audience and not walking up to me. And a round of applause, please, for Winnie, James, and Jared. Thank you very much.